Hello and welcome back to Podmas episode. I'm Tim at Wembembo on everything, and I'm joined by Joey Fitz, my brother.
Hello, I'm Joey.
And I'm also joined by Alex, our other brother from the north.
No.
I don't
Tim,
know where
this
this is
episode
going.
3.
Thank you.
The third.
Editing, Tim. This is going
2 days from
third
now.
slot. Thank you.
2 days from now, Tim.
Guys, how we doing?
Good?
Good.
You ready for this, Tim?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, just about. We thought it'd be fun. As Joey's got a prime at the ready. That's always nice. I have a quarter of a pint of squash. That's good.
I have a sneak bottle full of lemonade.
Oh,
the logo went. Oh,
I thought you'd have a different receptacle every time because we had mouthwash.
What? How creative can he be? At what point do we get to a watering can?
Is Alex drinking from a can of deodorant?
So we thought it would be fun, given that video games have expanded into things like books and TV shows, but in particular, movies.
Famously,
Joey and I,
video game movies are really good.
yes, 100% track record. Joey and I are kind of film buffs. Alex, would you consider yourself a bit of a film buff?
I don't mind films. I didn't study it like you guys did, so I'm less into it than you guys. But I like a film.
Good. Well, we figured we'd make this a once-a-month series that I forget what we're calling the name of this. Is it Video Game Movie Club?
Video game movie club. The name is definitely up for debate.
It's a video game movie club on the roster, but
We need to have something that
change
rolls
by
off the
the
tongue
time.
better. This is why we have a pilot, you see, audience. But we thought it would be fun to take a look at a film from 1993, starting off with arguably Mr. Video Game himself, Mega Man. No, Super Mario Bros. The movie from 1993, starring Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo and Dennis Hoffer.
The way you said that made it sound like our movies are going to be strictly from 1993 only.
That's a very limited scope that we'd be looking at there.
Here's the episode, and now we're done. We're
We're done for the series. Bye. But no, we're looking at the Super Mario Brothers movie, the one where they did live action for some reason. I'm going to go to immediate thoughts with Alex.
I love this film.
It's so dumb. I love it.
It was such a good. It had that same stupid energy about it to what's it? Why is the name escape me? The one with Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone.
Yep.
It's got that same stupid 90s energy about it, and I didn't particularly like Home Alone, but this film was.
That was an hands up okay gesture from Alex there. Joey, your immediate thoughts?
My immediate thoughts were, apart from the names of the characters, had anyone who worked on this movie played Mario in the slightest?
So I had this thought as well, where it seemed like the execs were told the names of the characters and that Mario and Luigi were plumbers, and that is about it.
I have made notes for this, Tim. Can I just start by saying this movie was really dumb, but in quite a fun way.
Yeah.
There was 3 things I have notes about, and out of context, they're going to seem a little bit well, let me know what you think out of context. At one point, King Koopa, who in my head I forgot was Bowser, says that T-Rexes were single-celled organisms.
Yep.
So they have an evolving machine, and when he says, we're going to send you back to a single-celled organism, Mario goes, hey, what fucking single-celled organism did you come from? And he goes, I was a T-Rex, king of all the land. And it's like, not sure that they were single-celled organisms. The second one is the 2 henchmen. At one point, one of the henchmen gets pushed into the evolving machine, and they advance his brain as far as it can go. And he says, did you know that the square root of 26,481 is 192? It's not. It's 162.7. So the one thing that they did to make him intelligent It was wrong.
90s movies have this weird habit of when someone is supposed to be really smart, they just spout off math facts and just call it a day.
And then my final note, that I do have more notes than this, obviously, I'm being a bit facetious, but the scene with the Twin Towers really got me.
Weird. That was weird.
I'm sure we'll talk in length about that, but my God, I was like, oh shit.
I sent Joey a text after I just got done watching the movie saying, the scene with the Twin Towers fucking sent me. It was like, I've seen this movie 2 or 3 times before, and because I love Bob Hoskins' Mario, it's not a good movie by any stretch, but what it is a fun movie. And if you could just swap the names Mario and Luigi with anything else, I don't know, let's call them Bob and John for Bob Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, and you would have the same movie. There would be no references changed to Mario or anything. But it's a fun time with a lot of dumb shots and some very corny 90s action sequences and a lot of great 90s tropes. Lots of fun.
What was your favorite action sequence? I have a sarcastic one and a real one.
I really like when Mario was climbing around the same pile of coal that King Koopa was in, just throwing shit at him, and then King Koopa got a flamethrower and could not catch up with Mario, who was only holding on by his hands above an electric fence.
Nice. Alex, what was your favourite action sequence?
I mean, it's a similar part to what Tim said, but it's when he sets the little bomb off, and it's just that whole sequence of the bomb walking along. It's just like, oh, he's gonna go at some point. Or
Why?
I know it's not strictly action, but
why did the bomb have Reeboks on?
I don't know. They made a really weird point of when the bomb clung to the ceiling, like from the underside of a grate. It shot down, and it very clearly showed Reebok name and logo.
And the Union Jack on it was weird.
Very weird.
My favourite sequences, my 2 favourite, the first one was when the first time you see Mario and Luigi in the van, and Mario goes, make sure you turn left here, and Luigi goes, I'm going to turn right because I trust my gut. And then the next thing you see them get out the car and he goes, see, we got here really quick. And then Mario goes, we're lucky we got here alive. And I thought, because he turned right instead of going left. There was a lot of really fun things like that.
Yeah, but he went down a side alley, didn't he? He didn't go on a proper road. So
he did, but it was just the way he was like, sometimes things just work out. So how did you get there quicker when you meant to go left and you went right? My actual favourite was when they first got to the Koopa Dimension City.
Oh my
God, they were like, this little old lady was like, you're not from round here, are you? And they were like, no, we're lost. And she goes, good. And then she just pulls out a gun and tries to mug them. It's fucking mental.
And she's like, have you got a weapon? And they're both like, no. It's
like,
like,
oh, this will be easy. Then Granny's packing. We were saying that it felt like no one on this film had played a Mario game.
Yeah.
I've gone on the IMDb trivia section.
Does it say no one on this film had played a Mario game?
Bob Hoskins didn't know that the film he was making was based on a video game until his son asked him what he was working on. When Hoskins mentioned the film's name, his son immediately recognized it and showed Hoskins the game on his own NES.
Well, I mean, it shows.
Yeah.
I have also been watching quite a lot of The Sopranos, and it really put me off how similar their voices were. Because I went from watching The Sopranos, where they're like, the fucking mob and the gabagool, and then this guy was like, Luigi, let's fix the fucking plumbing.
I kept on like, all I could think about when I was hearing a lot of this was, did you guys ever watch the old Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
No. I mean, I've seen clips.
I just kept on thinking Bob Hoskins' voice was like a really good impression of that. Just the whole, it's a stone, Luigi, you didn't make it. It's so good. But there is one line that is my favorite, and it's maybe in the first minute of the movie. It's they have this flashback where it's like Brooklyn 65 million years ago, and Mario's the voiceover going, 65 million years ago, there were dinosaurs and they were all wiped out by the meteor. But what if it also opened up a parallel universe? It's like, oh my God, where have you got this from?
But you know, when they introduced that, the Atari-styled graphics of the dinosaur poking out over the forest before the awful CGI,
yeah.
that was so cool.
It was really neat. It was showing there was some effort put into it.
It was a real tease for like nothing else is going to be good in this film.
No, but right, wasn't it? Wasn't he watching the Twilight Zone on the TV the entire time? It's like, what if there were parallel universes? And like,
who knows? But then, like at the end of the movie, they're just like, spoilers for the very end of the movie. It cuts to like the news being presented by the guy from the fucking Twilight Zone, being like, and the Mario brothers saved Brooklyn with their parallel dimension boots or something like that.
I would call them the Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, they've said the name of the movie.
That was wild. Tim, do you want to tell us the story? Just walk us through what happens. I mean, normally on Two Blokes I say 15 seconds. I think you'll struggle to do this in 2 minutes if you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute here. So feel free to interject anyone because otherwise it's gonna be 2 minutes of me waffling. Mm-hmm. So our story begins 65 million years ago in Brooklyn, and there are dinosaurs, and they get fucking obliterated by a meteor that also opens up a parallel rift.
But only one thing ever chips off of it, which I was really surprised at.
Yeah, the meteorite otherwise perfectly intact, aside from one Dorito-sized chip out of this thing. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to Brooklyn about 20 years before the film's main framing, if you like, where a woman leaves an egg outside of a nunnery, and the egg hatches, and there's a human baby in it with a necklace of a crystal. 20 years later, this baby turns into...
Sorry. Interjection time.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you were someone of faith and you watched a human come out of an egg in front of you,
my world would break.
Do you think you have some questions?
Was anyone else expecting it to be a full-size Cooper when it hatched?
When I first saw this film, I was expecting like Yoshi or something, because I know Yoshi's in this movie
or
for better
Bowser.
or for worse. Yeah.
I was expecting to see Coopers throughout the whole film, and what we saw was not what I expected.
So 20 years later, we cut to the Mario brothers and their failing plumbing business, and we also have...
hold on, another interjection. My favorite detail in this. On the wall in the Mario Brothers flat, did you notice that they have a trophy cabinet made up of plungers?
No, that's amazing.
It's like a rifle stock, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was like, all I could think was, the only reason they would put them there is if they unclogged a legendary toilet, which means these are used plungers on the wall.
It's amazing. Then we somehow get to... Oh, that's right, there is this rival plumber / corporate conglomerate called Scapelli.
Scapelli.
Fucking Scapelli.
Who not only beat them to the job because Luigi took a wrong turn down an alleyway. Joey's interjecting. Yep.
If you had a plumbing job, how many plumbers would you call?
One.
Why are you having them race to your job?
I don't know. It's funny and cool. So Scapelli also owns some land that a university is doing a dig on, a dig that is run by the baby that came out of the egg, also known as Daisy, who is
princess, and we don't know this yet.
We don't know this yet, but the audience, if they're gamers, do. And it's so eventually Daisy ends up being intimidated off the dig site to go and find a payphone to go and talk to the university to try and get some security down there, because Scapelli's goons are trying to give them a bit of a shakedown to get them off the site quicker.
They're gooning.
They are gooning. They're going into their goon cave.
Absolute goons.
So, Luigi ends up giving up his 25 cents to give Daisy the remainder of his phone call that he has already dialed. And she ends up calling the university, and they're like, nope, no security. And so Luigi just drives her back to the dig site and ends up asking her out for dinner.
Can we break down how that happened? Mario and Luigi broke down and their fan burst into smoke, and Mario fixed it by pouring water on the engine.
Yeah, not in it.
And then said to a lady in front of a beaten-ass, broken-down van, "Would you like to get in the van?"
You want a lift?
What my cousin here is trying to say. There was a lot of that.
I watched a thing ages ago that said, the last thing you hear before getting in the van and ending your life is, "Would you like to get in the van?"
So, after they go out for dinner, Daisy and Mario's girlfriend, Danielle, whoever the fuck that is.
I was under the impression that might be Princess Peach for a while, but it's definitely not.
I was also under that impression, but no.
I thought it might have been Pauline from the original Jumpman games, but no, it was Danielle. I don't know who Danielle is, but she's properly...
Sorry, the henchman following saw her and went, "Oh, she must be Daisy," because they're both women.
Yeah, all mammals look the same.
Alex, you very politely had your hand raised.
Interjection, yeah. So I'm actually on the Wikipedia page for this film, and I've just so it's Daniela, and it's hyperlinked to the page for Pauline. So you're right, Tim. It is meant to be Pauline. I don't know why they've called her Daniela, but
Bob Hoskins' Mario has outgamed us, boys.
God damn.
Damn.
Now, we've been talking about this for about 5 minutes. We are maybe a couple minutes into this movie at this point.
Yeah, so, 1 for 1.
After they go out for drinks and Daniela, Pauline, gets kidnapped, Luigi and Daisy go into the sewers where there's some people digging at the dig site, and then a water main explodes. Joey, you're interjecting.
We're being very polite and putting hands up. Actually, what happens is, instead of driving home, Luigi goes, "Can I walk you home?" And then after she says yes, Daisy says, "I don't want you to think you have to do anything here." And it's like, he's just walking you home. Don't be so presumptuous. She then wants to show him the dig site.
Yep.
And then they had a race to the dig site.
Why did they race to the dig site?
I don't know. I don't know.
To show that they're young and in love, I guess.
I guess. So, eventually a water main bursts, and the two Stooges from before kidnap Daisy, and Mario and Luigi have to do some plumbing there and then. Joey.
The water main did not burst. It was tampered with by the Scapellis.
It was sabotaged. Yeah.
But the Scapellis, which are not the henchmen.
No.
So those goddamn Scapellis.
So Mario and Luigi follow the voice of Daisy going through this cave, because Mario makes a very clear point to not follow the echo, and he knows this because he works in pipes for decades. So
I've worked on pipes all my life. There's the echo.
So they eventually find this cavern that I don't know how the university dig site didn't find, because it's huge and under Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And Daisy's face comes out of a wall, so they jump into the wall, kind of like Super Mario 64, which I don't think would have been out at this point.
I was just about to say, Super Mario 64 came out 3 years later, so must have drawn inspiration.
There is every chance that Super Mario 64 drew inspirations from Bob Hoskins' Mario.
That CGI of her coming out of the wall is some of the worst CGI I've ever seen.
Really bad. So they end up falling through to the Koopa Kingdom, the Mushroom Kingdom, while giving a proper, whoa, this isn't a green screen kind of look.
I loved the way Mario fell through this. He was just endlessly falling. But it did make me think, how did Daisy, jump back through it briefly? Because it was like falling through space and time.
Yeah, at the very least, it was like a 500-foot shaft, if we're assuming it's a physical location. But it's a parallel universe, which they established earlier. So we end up at the Koopa Kingdom, and everything's like Brooklyn, but just full of corruption and graffiti, and it's a bit of a dystopian nightmare.
It was a lot like is it the Fifth Element?
Yeah.
What's the one? Is it? No, it's. I'm thinking of what's the Arnold Schwarzenegger one with the one with 3 boobs in? Total Recall. That's what the city was like. That's what it reminded me of.
It's like cyberpunk dystopian.
Yeah.
Oh, I should point out as well at this point, as Daisy's face came through the wall that she somehow climbed up and fell back through partially, Luigi grabbed her necklace, which was the crystal from before.
The beauty, right?
So Mario and Luigi are wandering around Koopa City to look for Daisy, and a giant black woman in spiky red outfit and leather bondage gear
called Big Bertha.
Big Bertha
Big
comes
Bertha.
along, steals the necklace, and then jumps away in her moon boots.
Yep.
Then
We're now 20 minutes into the movie.
we are about 20 minutes into this movie. I
Big
don't remember
Bertha,
how they end up in jail.
No more notes. Do you know what Big Bertha's based on in the game?
She's based on the blooper squids, isn't she?
She's based on this thing, the fish.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
right.
Big Bertha.
Huh. Well, that's what you get. How do they end up in the jail? Someone remind me.
The henchmen tell King Koopa that
Plumbers have the necklace.
plumbers have the necklace.
That's
so
what it is.
they basically try and imprison anyone for being a plumber. So when he says, "I'm a plumber," the police throw him in the car and he's like, "I'm being arrested for being a plumber." But you are missing out that we run into Toad before this.
Yes, Toad is a busking musician who has the most shit haircut I've ever seen in anything ever.
But-
Imagine if someone had shaved a baseball cap into your hair and then done like a spiral pan on the top.
The problem is, we would never know it was Toad unless they said, "Oh, Toad always busking."
Yeah.
That's never know it was Toad. That's the only reference to it being Toad. Apart from the fact he plays a harmonica later.
He sang an anti-King Koopa song, and then the police arrested him, and Bob Hoskins said, "You can't arrest him for singing a song."
And then he gets
you
arrested
can't-
for being a plumber.
It was like you can't arrest him for being a punk, I think it was.
Oh, I don't know. So they end up in jail, and Mario and Luigi get interrogated, and there's this whole comedic scene of, "What's your name? Mario. And what's your last name? Mario. Mario. And what's his name? Luigi. Luigi? Nah, Luigi Mario."
How
I
many
like that
Marios are there between you?
There's
3.
three. He's Mario,
He's
and I'm
Mario,
Luigi
and I'm
Mario.
Luigi Mario.
I'm just amazed that you described it as a comedic scene, to be totally honest with you.
It was pretty funny.
So they end up putting Mario and Luigi in what is essentially a giant dog pen. And they get interrogated by King Koopa, played by Dennis Hopper. And I was reading, by the way, apparently the writers were inspired by Donald Trump for his appearance.
Does not surprise me.
No, not
When
at all.
you told me, Tim, to look out for Dennis Hopper, I got it really confused, and I thought you were talking about Dennis Rodman. And I could imagine Dennis Rodman playing someone in this film.
Yeah, he looks like he'd fit in. You know, he's got the punk, like tattoos, piercings, whatever. So there's a big old jailbreak. For some reason, King Koopa thinks that anyone who is from the mammal universe, as I'm going to call it, is like covered in fungus and mushrooms, and that's a really bad thing in this universe. So he's like very much like, "Oh, give me the hand sanitizer, give me the gloves and whatever."
He's just a germaphobe, isn't he?
He's a massive
Can't touch
germaphobe.
anyone, yeah.
So there's a big old escape sequence, and they end up in just the desert, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And at this point, we see that Koopa's plan is to have an army of Goombas. Now, I don't know if you guys recognize the Goombas in this movie. They are not at all like the Goombas from the video games. Alex, what do you think of when you hear Goomba?
They're the little, like, weird mushroom-headed things with the big eyes and the feet.
Yeah. Joey, what are they in this movie?
They're like crocodiles with round heads. It's really weird.
They're like bulky human. They're like bulky human figures with tiny little dinosaur faces.
It's really weird.
So
But they can
that's
dance.
a part of the that's a part of the de-evolution. So whenever people are Toad ends up going into this machine, to the de-evolution machine, and he becomes a Goomba with a harmonica on his neck because they just need to assign him a personality for some reason. And they end up putting the Stooges, Iggy and Spike, who
Is that their
Iggy,
names? I can't remember.
well, Spike is a regular villain in the Mario games where he's like kind of spit out a spike ball and you might see him rolling around on a spike ball. Iggy is one of the Bowser Jr. cousin creature things. Like there's Iggy,
is Spike
Morton,
not one of them?
Spike, maybe?
I thought Spike was a Bowser cousin as well, because
I don't know.
they both get referred to as cousins from
Right,
the
okay.
film.
I don't
Tim's,
think
I don't know. It's kind of how we're at this point.
I think it's how the writers are at, because I'll be like, Alex, while I appreciate your explanation, I don't think this thing can be used as any sort of guide of law. So,
I don't know what you
Oh
mean.
no, they're just Cooper enemies.
there you go. They're
Oh,
just
wow.
Spike and Iggy. So they become intelligent, and Iggy gets math problem wrongs a lot.
But no one questions it.
No one questions it. And so they drive out to the desert to find Mario and Luigi with the necklace in a kind of Mad Max-esque car. And then they get tricked somehow. I don't remember how. And end up back in Cooper City where they try and bust Daisy out. Then Cooper comes along with Daisy and is like, Daisy, I need you to meet your father, who is just like a fucking gelatinous mess in the ceiling. Because he de-evolved so far and became just a giant pile of fungus that occasionally dips out of the ceiling above a throne.
Yep.
Very, very weird.
I have nothing to add to that.
No. Then Daisy is held in a prison cell with what is supposed to be Yoshi, but it's just a baby velociraptor. While Bowser's like right-hand person, Nina, whoever the fuck Nina is like trying to be, I'm an intimidating villain, and then Yoshi tries to eat her.
Yeah.
Then
I like the bit where Daisy was petting Yoshi on the head for like 7 scenes, and then Nina decides to try and slit her throat. Like she hadn't been thinking about doing it the whole time.
Yeah. Then there's a big escape sequence into. Oh, I totally missed a fucking scene where Mario and Luigi go to Big Bertha's big disco, put on 70s suits to make them look like bottles of ketchup and mustard, and then Mario tries to get down with Big Bertha, and then they steal the necklace, and then it gets the escape sequence. Back to where we were. There's now a big fight.
No. Hold on. You missed something of how they escaped. Because they escaped on the back of a bin lorry. That they just go, and now this bin lorry's going to Koopa's tower. Why would a bin lorry full of rubbish be going to the King's tower?
Then, so as they're in the laboratory where they do the evolution and de-evolution of people as King Koopa sees fit, Mario, and all the other missing women from Brooklyn ever, including his girlfriend Daniela, escape down an air vent on a mattress, which is then followed by 2 Koopas and something else, because it's not a Koopa, it's got like a weird lizard head.
Yep.
Follow them down on another mattress, and Mario uses his plumbing cunning to put a stop to them.
The Goombas... The enemy design is like they were in the movie studio and they went, we don't have any enemy design for the Koopas. Well, what's lying around? what can we just throw there?
A basketball that we can paint green.
We've got turtle masks and suits.
Yeah.
Then there's a big fight at the end, and the crystal gets away from them, and Nina picks it up and runs toward the meteorite to try and merge the dimensions. And she fails, but Luigi and Daisy succeed, and then Dennis Hopper and Mario are having a stare down in Brooklyn at this point with Dennis Hopper's monkification gun.
Just whilst I am a big fan of the monkification gun, I think we just need to say the reason they're in Brooklyn is because Nina connected the chipped off part of the meteorite back to the meteorite, which created a dimensional door to the human world
Under Brooklyn.
For some reason, warped Bowser and Mario to the dig site above where they went in the first place, in front of all the reporters.
And then because the dimensional... So Dennis Hopper Bowser fires his monkification gun at Scapelli, so now he's a big chimp. And
wasn't it? It was the de-evolution gun, wasn't it? So
that's
it
right.
evolved
Yeah.
into the gun. So it wasn't actually, because I feel like we have to clarify that, because with this movie there could be a weapon called the monkification gun.
Yeah, and then Dennis Hopper looks at him and says, "Haha, monkey." And
Why does everyone laugh at that? That's quite a horrific thing to see, and everyone just thinks it's hilarious.
I was saying this to Payne. Why is no one in the crowd freaking out that a man has just turned into a chimp before their eyes? So, because the dimensions are now linked, for some reason the Twin Towers just get Thanos'd, right in front of everyone.
Yeah, the Twin Towers disappear, and one of them is sort of replaced with the Cooper Tower.
Yeah,
but it's done in a way that looks like the towers are collapsing.
Yeah, it's not great in a modern lens, but
it's not the most comfortable I've been watching a film.
But then, because they repair the dimension rift, and Daisy has to stay behind, Bowser and Nina and Cooper Tower get sent back to the Cooper Kingdom, and Bowser is now a big lizard, and one of the Twin Towers is back.
You forgot that Mario speaks to the mushrooms.
Yes, that's right. So there's a whole thing where mushrooms have been trying to give them things like fire flowers and bombs and stuff. Turns out all the mushrooms were Daisy's dad. Just he's somehow spread all over the world, and he's putting out threats like some sort of literal eco-terrorist.
Yeah. But then there's go on, Alex.
I was just going to say, I really like when Luigi gets introduced to the dad, and he's like, "Oh, nice to meet you, sir. Yeah, it's an honor to this pile of goo."
Yeah,
it's good. But there's a bit where Bowser is aiming the gun at Mario, and Mario whispers something to the mushroom that he's holding, so it makes it big and turns it into a shield.
Yeah. Never been established before that it could do that. No idea what the fuck that was.
There was a bit where a mushroom turned into a trampoline for him when he jumped out of a lift shaft for no reason.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Forgot about that. Then after Cooper gets hit with the de-evolution gun, he becomes a big pile of jelly and gets sent down the sewers, and that's the end.
There's
a bit where they're watching the Twilight Zone, and the guy on the Twilight Zone was like, "And the Mario brothers saved America." And at that point, Daisy, who has been like, "No, I must stay with the Cooper Kingdom and work out who I am," then kicks in their apartment door, armed to the teeth, and like, "Guys, I need you to come with me." And they're like, "What is it, Daisy?" And she's like, "You're not gonna believe it." And then they grab plumbers, and the movie ends. The plumbers? Well, they grab plungers, and the movie ends.
Mario goes, "I'd believe it."
I'd believe it. With no other context. Roll credits.
Can I ask you both a question?
Yeah.
Did you know there was a post-credit scene?
No.
No.
What was the post-credit
scene? Where these two Japanese executives come in to a room and they go, "Oh, we're going to give you a video game. We've got this great idea and we're going to make you into a video game." And then it pans around and it's actually the Bowser cousins that he's talking to rather than Mario and Luigi.
I'm on the IMDb trivia page here. Apparently in the Italian release of this movie, the ending is cut so Mario and Luigi just don't go back to Brooklyn.
Wait, that's quite a lot cut.
Yeah, it is quite a lot cut. And now they're just stuck in the Mushroom Kingdom.
I'm on the Wikipedia page here, and apparently, in 1990, Dustin Hoffman wanted to purchase the rights to the film with himself as Mario and Danny DeVito as Luigi. I would pay money to see that.
That would be so good.
Hey, it's me, Luigi.
Well, that wasn't too far off what it actually was.
So they're supposed to be brothers, Mario and Luigi, of course. But Alex rightly pointed out in a text message to Joey and I, why is there such a massive age gap between them? Bob Hoskins is quite clearly an old
40
man.
Years. There's easily 40 years between them.
Oh, it's so weird. So weird.
Can we agree that the movie is bad?
It's a bad movie.
Can we say that it's a bad movie with some really good bits in it?
Yeah, it's if you're watching this for the first time, it is surreal. It's so bizarre, but it's such a fun movie.
It's one of those where everyone has to watch it, but you only have to watch it once.
Yes, unless you're Tim.
3 times, baby.
What was your favourite part of the movie? If you had to pick one bit, and I'm going serious here rather than like shit for the sake of shit. Well, so I'll tell you mine while you think about yours. I really liked it, and it didn't make any sense, but I did really like it when they were like, "Oh, we're in Cooper Tower. We're gonna get spotted, so we're gonna find some outfits to blend in." And actually, that is where Mario and Luigi's red and green suits came from. I thought that was like they looked shit, and it was a stupid idea, but I did like that they threw it in there.
Yeah, it's a neat idea considering that Mario was before wearing yellow and Luigi was wearing red.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little detail, but you know when they put on the moon boots, like the jetpack boots, they're obviously powered by, I don't know, some sort of electric or magic or whatever the fuck. But whenever they put it on, it made like the Mario, like you know the sound in the original games when Mario gets hit, where it's like, "Voodoo?"
Yeah.
It made that sound, and I was
cool.
like, that's cool. I had no idea why it does that. It's not at all related to the sound effect that it's already like sourcing, but whatever. It's cool.
But that seemed to be a common thing through it, because there was a scene King Koopa was doing some. I think it was when King Koopa was ordering his pizza or something, and in the background you could hear the coin. You know the ding, ding.
Yeah.
You could just hear that, and I was just there going, Why is that in there?"
I think what they did was someone said, "Look, we've got the rights to this Mario Brothers. It's really popular, so it's going to make loads of money regardless. Here is the names, and here is a bunch of sound effects that are from the game. Don't play the game, just assemble them how you think they fit."
Here's a ton of assets, go.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I've just looked it up. You know the original opening narration? That's not Bob Hoskins or as Mario. That is Dan Castellaneta, voice of Homer.
What?
Yeah.
But it's Mario.
Yeah, but for some reason they got Dan Castellaneta.
Brooklyn. 65 million fucking years ago.
Well, I think
fucking meteor ripped a dimensional door in Brooklyn.
Because I think the idea was it was a TV show that Luigi was watching. That's what that was a scene from. Because when it pans out, it's Luigi on the sofa eating fucking pistachios or something.
But that's so Dan Castellaneta.
It was his episode of The Twilight Zone he was watching at that moment, because that seems to be the only thing he watches.
But the only reason I've spotted that is because in the goof section they spelt Dan's name wrong.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine being miscredited in the Mario movie?
There's a bit in the start of this where Luigi sat watching that and Mario throws the paper down on the table and he says, "You actually paid money for this?" And I really thought, can you imagine sitting in the cinema and someone saying, "Did you actually pay money for this?" And then you watch this film.
So I'm just reading here. During one of the chase scenes, Bob Hoskins also broke a finger when a van door slammed on his hand. For the rest of the film, Hoskins is seen wearing a cast that is painted pink to look like his hand. But in addition to that, he was also stabbed 4 times, electrocuted, and nearly drowned on the set. Quote, "And that's just what happened to me."
Jesus. Someone was shoved down a pipe.
Someone drowned in a mud bath.
Yeah, wild.
According to John Leguizamo in his autobiography, Rocky Morton, one of the producers, once poured hot coffee on an extra's head because he didn't like the extra's costume. What the fuck? It was absolutely nothing to do with the extra.
Well, that's the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
It was a movie.
But this, are we giving things
or not? I don't think we should. I don't think we need to. I think we can say whether we recommend them. But
big recommend for this one. It's weird. It's out there.
Recommend it if you enjoy partaking in recreational drugs. Not that we endorse.
Recommend it if you've got an hour and a half to just turn your brain off.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, it's surreal, it's bad, but it's good bad.
What the hell is happening on this film. John Leguizamo at one point was hit by a car during the shooting of this movie. He broke a leg, and you can see the cast in some shots.
Jesus.
The hell?
Right, well, before we enter Tim's wormhole of Mario Brothers movie even further, I'm choosing next time
Yeah.
we're going to do another bad movie. Because there's not many good video game movies. We're doing Silent Hill. Tim, 1 or 2?
Which one's the one with Sean Bean in?
2.
We'll do 1.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do Silent Hill 1.
Great.
The not as fun one. No, fuck it. We're doing Silent Hill 2.
All right, bet.
There you go.
Great.
Right, well.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this pilot of a video game movie club or something.
Yeah, and I think we should say if you enjoyed this and you want to hear more of this drivel, let us know in the Discord or the Twitter or pigeon mail. Send us a Cooper with a letter. However you get in touch with us.
Send us a Reebok, bomb-wearing Reeboks.
Or send us a video game movie suggestion of something that you'd like to hear.
Absolutely.
We are not doing TV series yet, so Tim's disappointment of the Yakuza series will not come to
Spared
fruition.
for now.
For now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Join us for the next episode of Podmas, which will be out, I don't know, let's say tomorrow.
It's a 2 blokes,
Ooh.
so we'll see you then. We've already recorded that one, Tim.
We have. That's exciting.
It's exciting.
Ooh.
There you go. All right.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.
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 It's Podmas Christmas time. 30 days. Podmas is here. Podmas is here.
Podmas jingle.
Do we play at the end as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this staying in?
Yeah. It's going
Yeah.
now.
Okay.